Hello all, welcome to the session. Maybe let's give some 2 more minutes and then we'll start the session. Uh, Hello all, welcome to the session. So I think we are almost like houseful, I guess. So let's get started. And okay, so good morning, good evening for anyone from any part of the world. So welcome to this session. So this session is about your APM automation and it is related towards testing background. So this is the session about APM, a specific tool called APM. So I would say in case like if you have any doubts or anything, right? So you can see I've just projected my screen or I shared my screen. So in case if you're seeing it, you have a chat window where you can post your chats and you can also unmute yourself and then clarify your doubts whenever it is required. And also like in case if you're not speaking, right? So I would request all of you to mute yourself so that the others do not get disturbed or distracted. So let's follow this so that we can have some peaceful session and also we can have some productive session as well. So this is a kind request. And coming to the session, so I welcome you all. So this is Aravind. So I'm part of Isha Training. So I'll be working around you with these training sessions for APM. So this is the slide deck that I'll be sharing it today with you all. And to introduce about myself, so let me quickly go through it. So myself, Aravind. So I have like 14 years of experience. So I've been working in different roles like quality analyst, SDET, test engineer, all those stuffs actually. So predominantly I worked with Selenium, APM, Cypress, and also I have working knowledge on Playwright as well, and some of the other performance tools like Jmeter, K6, and some security tools also I worked into it. So I've been doing some corporate trainings like part time, full time for around like 8 to 9 years closely. and I've been working with some clients in an industry like Verizon, Emirates, NBD, Binance, and much more. And from the training perspective, I've been like training a lot of uh, individuals as well as corporates. So individuals in the sense like some persons individually contacting from Isha, and also I did some corporate trainings with some of the small sized organizations to set up and build their platform in Chennai. So there is something called a tidal park. So I've been working with some small companies over there to set it up. So that's pretty much about me, and I work and live in currently in Doha. So it's part of Qatar. So I've been working from there. Yeah. So this is about me and small about the personal stuff as well, where I work and what I work. So before we move on to the session, so I think like you might have received some polls or inside our chat window in the WhatsApp chat window, like whether you're a fresher or an experienced. Okay, so because that will help me to drive the session, like how important it is and who are my audience are right now. So I would request you, let's spare some 1 or 2 minutes, and then you can either chat it or you can unmute yourself and speak about like maybe I don't need to go into the personal stuff, but can I have something like say what is your experience and what have you been working around? So that would be quite interesting for me to listen to it. So maybe who's ready to start? It's just a friendly gesture, so it's there's no hard and fast rule. So just 1 or 2 minutes, like whoever is willing can do it up. It would be great to let us know each other because we are in different parts of the world, so it's good to know each other.
Hey, hi, good
Yeah,
morning, good
yes,
evening,
please.
everyone. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Akshay. Basically, I'm from India. So I have close to 19 years of experience, basically in software testing and not typical to automation. So basic exposure on automation tool called UFT, and then Selenium Java, Selenium Python, Selenium .NET, uh, like the Cucumber framework or BDD like framework, TDD framework, and other keyword driven framework. Yeah, this is all together.
Ah, thank you, thank you. And which one did you like it? Did you like Selenium with Java or .NET, or which one did you like it, or which one would you
I
prefer?
work. It depends. I work for a testing COE, so
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
we do create lot of what is called utility or jar file for different
mm-hmm,
kind of applications. It will be web application or mobile application or API. So depends upon the client requirement. We do design our jar file to provide the team. So basic components and utility dependencies we used to create and sell them. Rest of the kind of what is called test cases, the respective team as per the functional document they do.
mm-hmm.
So prefer I basically BDD framework mostly.
Ah,
Um,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Ah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, thanks for sharing actually. Yeah, good to have you in the session. Thank you so much. Yeah, I see Usha has raised her hand. Yeah, yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. So, yeah, I have around 10 years, more than 10 years of experience, and I have basically worked on Selenium, like web and UI automation, but the mobile was lacking. So, I thought I should expand it because I'm looking for another job opportunities in future. So, yeah, that's it.
Ah, that's
Thank you.
great. Yeah, thanks, thanks. Okay, let me check the chat. There are a few chats. Yes. Yeah, thanks, Sumit. Thanks for chatting. And thanks, Hyder Ali. Yeah, thank you so much. Mm. Okay, so feel free to drop a message. So I understand like there are like a couple of 10 plus years and 3 plus years people around over here, and I would say you're not new to automation some way or the other. You have been doing some automation stuffs. That's good to hear. Okay, so and yeah, so our session will be focusing more into the APM part. I would say the mobile automation part. So I think when you started the mobile automation, right? So there is a lot of forums, a lot of YouTube channels who explain it, who do it. And the thing is, say, what differentiates from them is, say, we give some support to you for you in case if you're facing some issues, scenarios. We can support like anything which is respect to the session. We'll be happy to support it. So that's the main motto of this session. So we are going to train you and we are going to make you independent testers so that you can become an independent contributor on automation APM perspective. Okay, so there is quite a lot of good opportunities out there when we say about APM, because Selenium has almost become a legacy, actually, I would tell. That's a web automation. So there are quite a lot of new tools available and very faster tools when compared to Selenium. But when it comes to mobile automation, and that too as an open source, I would say like APM has the upper hand. So that means say it's open source. You have a lot of users, you have a community, you have wide range of support for your APM, whether it's going to be a hybrid app, native app, or web-based app, anything, your APM has the support. And I would tell, say, APM is something say a jar file similar to that of Selenium, where you're going to use those class files inside the framework. Similar to that of Selenium, how Selenium is a jar file, APM is also like it's a jar file. We have it called Java client, and also we have some servers associated with it for APM. So between these two things, we'll be using it up. Okay, just a moment. Okay, and okay, so this is about me, and thanks for sharing. Maybe let me have a quick. Yeah, thanks, Rohit. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mandip. Thank you, Krishna. Yeah, Hyder Ali and Maharana. Yes. So the next thing is say what is mobile automation is going to do. Okay, so before we jump into this, how many of you have went through the syllabus and what is your expectation? I heard the expectation from Usha, she would like to know about the APM because that skill set is pending. But similar to that, anyone went through the syllabus point of view, and what is your expectation? Whether you're going to do it for your office or it's just for the personal interest, or how is it? Maybe anyone? Maybe a quick one. This one would be upskilling. Okay, fine. Okay. And may I know, say, who suggested you APM? That is also one key thing, because there are a lot of influences available right now in the what to say in the society. Like you can be influenced by uh, maybe a forum or something might have interested you, or your organization forced to learn you. That's basically upskilling it. So anyone? Nowadays, almost every employee expects senior employees to be aware of both UI and automation. It's better to scale up to match industries. Yeah, that is also true actually. So even from my experience, uh, like it's quite tough nowadays. Like say the expectation. So even when you see some LinkedIn's or Naukri Gulf, they expect you to be aware of almost all the concepts, which is quite unimaginative, but that is the new reality, I would say. So they want you to know each and everything. So they want you to contribute in all these things, in all the stuffs. So that is true. That's like we cannot disagree on that. And did anyone previously try to use the mobile automation? Did anyone try to set it up previously, or how was it? Just to check the knowledge check, nothing much actually. Okay, I think someone is typing, few people. Okay, it is set it up after the YouTube. Rahul Shetty. Ah, okay, that's quite famous. Rahul Shetty tutorial, but not able to implement properly. Okay. Oh, okay. So you do have an APM automation setup. Can you little bit elaborate what version and stuff that you're using? Okay. Okay, no problem. So let's revisit it later. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks all for your input. Maybe it's time to start, go deep into it. So let's get back to the slide. So mobile automation. So technically mobile automation is nothing but like nowadays it has become very famous, I would say. Without mobile, nobody is existing, I would tell. So everyone uses an app, or if the app is not sufficient, then they go to even in the mobile, they open the Chrome browser, they launch the web application and then check it up. So mobile has become quite handy nowadays, and a lot of people have started to use it quite predominantly. And that is the reason, like say we are over here, like say to do the automation on that, how the same way we did some decades back the Selenium, the web automation, when browser was like say existing into the business, like a lot of people wanted to check it out and they wanted to give a try from their organization or a personal perspective. So it succeeded a lot. And same goes for the mobile as well, because from the mobile perspective we have some limitations as well, and it has a wide range of advantage as well. So the limitation is always like say can be overcome with some other alternatives or a workarounds or something like that. Okay, so when we say mobile automation, right, so it's nothing but you have a device, whether it's an Android, iOS, or Huawei, anything. Okay, why I mentioned specifically Huawei? Any idea? Anyone from the group? Anyone from the group? So we are predominantly known about like Google has Android, iOS has that means your Apple has your iOS, but Huawei has an independent software. I don't know how many of you knew about it. It's like, say, Harmony OS. It is similar to that of your Android. Even that can be dealt with your APM. Okay, it doesn't hinder the progress. So that is why, like, say, we have three OS, but the majority of people use either an Android or an iOS. So I think Huawei's might not be popular in India, but the other parts of the world, like, people are still using it, and we do automation on that perspective as well. Okay, maybe not that exhaustive. It might be contribute towards 1% of automation. So the rest other things are focused in these two environments, which is nothing but Android and iOS. So when you have two platforms, you have, like, say, two mobile apps available, and these mobile apps can be, or like, say, it cannot be compatible with each other. That means when you do a cross functional, so when you want to install iOS app and Android, you can't do it. You need to have a separate Android base for that app to do it up. Okay, that is how they are being built on. And these segregations has made the mobile automation, or the made the mobile application to divide into three types. So that's why we call it as a native, web, and hybrid. So native application is nothing but like whichever apps are existing or that is being given only to the Play Store or App Store, we call it as a native application. Just a second. Okay. Okay, so we categorize it into three things. So when we categorize it, we can see, like, say, if it's going to be a native application, so it's going to be existing either in an Android or an iOS. So Android, you can still access it in an Android mobile, which is available inside your Play Store. Maybe let me quickly get my Android device and show it to you. Sorry about it. Today I have a little bit some throat problems, so that's why I like muting myself to have a cough. Let me grab the cable. Just give me a second. Meanwhile, I'm searching for my cable. So, how many of you are an iOS user? Maybe I know, like, Android, everyone uses it, but how many of you are using your iOS? By any chance, anyone is an iOS user? It's not bad, but just checking it. Ah, okay, we have iOS. Okay, that's great. Ah, we have two iOS. That's great. And do you guys also have like Mac laptop or desktop or something like that? Ah, okay, that's great. Oh, okay, there are some Mac users. Okay, that should be really great. Okay, I hope. Let me see. Windows machine. Yeah, that's great. That's the legacy, I would say. Thanks. Thank you all for your inputs. So as you can see, this is my Android device. I hold a Pixel actually. So if it's a native application, you go to your Play Store and then you try to download anything from over here. So this is going to be your native apps for your Android. But if it is going to be your simulator, right? Sorry, the iOS part. Maybe let me open quickly a simulator. Okay, let me check. If not, I can connect again another device, iOS device. Okay. My installation is pending. That's bad. Okay, that is bad. Let me connect another device. Let me disconnect this Android and let me connect it. My iOS. Okay, no need to connect, I would say, because I use a Mac. So even in a Mac, I can show it to you. Like as you can see it, in a Mac machine, you have your App Store. So the same App Store will be existing inside your simulator, inside your real device, so that you can Google out anything. Sorry, you can search for anything like any app, ENBDX, that's some of the app, so that you can download and you can use it up. So the same app, if you see it inside an Android, it will be looking a little bit different. So what is the motive to convey this one is like say whatever you see in the platform, iOS and Android, both are different systems altogether, different codes altogether, different, totally different things. So you cannot mix up your iOS and Android, I would say. Okay. So that is the reason I was being more specific, because some people have an assumption like say I have an iOS app, why can't I use it in an Android? So technically that is not feasible. Why? Because like both are built for different platforms, not for the same platform. That is the reason. Okay. So ENBDX, I think that app, what is it? Or let's take the Fab Mobile, no issues. Maybe this is, oopsie. You can see this is the Fab Mobile, the same thing will exist over here as well. So each one sometimes will have some features specific to Android, some features specific to iOS. So we cannot determine it, because that's why I told like say both are built on different programming language, different platforms. So you cannot compare both the two things, and you cannot cross install as well. So this iOS part where you visited the App Store and this Android part where you visited the Play Store. So this segregation only we call it as a native applications. So each one will exist in a separate premises, not in the same one. Okay, so that is the one. And in Android, if you want to install it, we call it as an APK file. In an iOS, we have like iOS real device and simulator. We have two different formats. If it's a real device, iOS real device, I would say it's an IPA format. Okay, the extension. And if it is simulator, it'll be the zip file. But for an Android, whether it's an real device or an emulator, we don't have the segregation. And specifically, if you see it, Android, we always call it as an emulator, and iOS, we call it as a simulator. What is an emulator and simulator? So anyone from the group, anyone knows this one, this difference? Anyone, or maybe to ask you in a different way, maybe some 5 6 years back, right? So there should be something called a PlayStation console. Okay, so whoever doesn't have or doesn't own a PlayStation, they can replicate the behavior of PlayStation inside a machine or a laptop. Okay, so those things only we call it as emulator or simulators. I would say like anyone did that before previously?
Yes, emulator is the combination of hardware and software, and that is so
Mhm.
emulate the uh, hardware in combination, and simulator is the uh, like for the generally we use the simulator in the Mac machine, that Xcode, where is the simulator that is the uh, combined only software. not compiled with the hardware.
Exactly. That's the right one. Exactly. I would say like you got to the point. So emulators are something like related to the hardware and software, but again, it is not a real device. It's just looks like a device where you can do some testing on it. So and the simulator is something like the hardware support doesn't happen. And can you give me some example of what is a hardware support? Anyone from the group? I would say we use it in a real time scenarios every day. What would be the hardware? Maybe anyone? Quite simple. Don't think very complex. It's very simple. What is the hardware support?
Like we use our a mobile device that is we
Mobile device. Yeah, that's true. Any other hardware?
that is laptop also.
Maybe let's stick on to for now to mobile. So laptop will come to it later. Or what are the features I would say that a hardware will help you?
The RAM operating system.
Exactly. So any other? What can you use? I would say
Processor.
processor. It's fine, but any other things? The feature of a hardware that you will be using it? Bluetooth, GPS, correct, right?
Yes.
So GPS basically like if you want to do it, so how do we do? So technically we just drag to this notification and there should be a GPS symbol. Yeah, over here. This is a GPS. That's again a hardware which is inbuilt inside your device. And also I would say like say Bluetooth, aeroplane mode, and also like data switching on your data, switching off your datas. Okay, so whatever you do it with the help of the chipset and your motion, so everything we call it as a hardware. So your emulator will replicate these behaviors without any issue. Okay, but when you come to the simulator, it cannot replicate these issues. So that's why like in the first beginning I told there are some limitations, but there are some workarounds as well. So if you use an iOS and if you're using a simulator to test it, assume a scenario like you want to switch between the Wi-Fi and the data and check how your application is reacting. Maybe your application is crashing or your application need some data to input, something like that. When you are in the switching between Wi-Fi and mobile data. So these kind of testings, we take it as a corner case, but it affects the application, okay, as a whole, because if it crashes, again, the user needs to do the same process again once he launches it up. So these are the things like we call it as a hardware. Just okay, so that's why, like, say, we have two segregations, an emulator and a simulator. So this native app is installable in both emulator and simulators. There is no problem on it. The only limitation is, like, say, the hardware support. The emulator will provide you hardware support, whereas the simulator does not provide any hardware support to you. That is the reality. Okay, so any doubts, anything so far here? Okay, fine, let me check the chat window as well. Yeah, thank you. Nothing for now. So this is the native application and next will be the web application and again web application. So this is also quite a tricky one, I would say. They might be developed for the mobile or iPad or your tablet based devices where you can open your Chrome in Android or Chrome in iOS and Safari only inside your iOS. Safari is something like it's a browser available in iOS, and then you can try to launch the application and then check it up. And if you see some web apps, technological stack like Mean Stack, MERN, MEAN, MERN, all these things are something like, say, the websites that are compatible with your device browsers. Based on that, they take it up. That's why we call it as a web application. So, and it is not dependent upon Play Store or App Store. It completely depends upon the browser that you're going to use it up. And last but not least, which is your hybrid application. So hybrid application is nothing but it is a combination of web and native application. So if you see, like, say, sometimes when you click on any links on the native application, it might be redirected towards a browser built, might be within the native application, or like mostly it will be built within the web application, sorry, the native application. We call such things as something called a web view. We call it technically as the technical word as web view. Okay, so that means, like, say, an application which has some web based item interlinked inside it. So that's why we call it as a web view. So who will decide whether which application we need to go, whether it's going to be native, web, or your hybrid? It all depends upon the business perspective. As a tester, we don't have that authority. It's all like, say, the business will decide, like, say, I'm going to go with this one because this has more advantage than the other thing, so I'll be going like this. So there is a quite a lot of debate and quite a lot of pros and cons. So whatever it is, one thing is sure, your APM will be able to cover up everything. Okay. So it has the ability and capability to do it. Okay. So that's the thing. And now coming back to the next slide. So which one to choose? As I told you, so it's basically a business driven. But the few factors that they consider is, like, say, the performance need, so desired features, development time, and the budget constraint. So these are the things. Okay, and now these are the applications that can be automated through APM. So who are the competitors of the APM? So anyone did any homeworks, like who will be the competitors of APM by any chance? Anyone did any research? Okay, no problem. So, like, say, if you see, like, who will be the competitors of your APM. Okay, so let's first list it out, and who is as a commercial tool, who is a non-commercial tool. Let's look at it later. So we have something called a detox. So did anyone hear about detox by any chance? Okay, so detox I would tell, and then there is something like Maestro, and then we have the Calabash, we have the Selenoid, and we have the robot embark. And also we have something called your Catalan Studio. We have the Perfecto, Cobiton, Test Sigma, Ranorex Studio. So these are some of the competitors, I would say. So in a Perfecto, I can include like say any cloud-based testings like Browser Stack or Sauce Labs. These things I can include it up. Okay, and which is commercial and which is free source, I would say. So these things we are call it as open source items, and from Catalan we see it as a commercial. So when I say commercial, you need to pay and you need to use it up. And open source, even it has some tough competition, I would say. So the Detox is the latest one. So like I see in Indian regions, like some people have used started to use Detox. Okay, so it's like a gray box testing tool, I would say, not a black box or a functional. So it's something like a gray box testing. People use it up, and it's good for something like a React based applications. And the Maestro is something like it's a modern one again, and it is simpler syntax, and it's both used for Android and iOS. And Calabash, it's like say a Ruby based framework. So it's no longer being upgraded or something. So it's because become like a void, I would say. And the same fate goes for your Selenoid. So Selenoid supports only your Android, so that's something like it's a downfall side. So whoever has an iOS, you cannot use your Selenoid. And robot framework, so technically it's a very age-old framework. We call it as a keyword driven framework, but it supports Android and iOS. Not as a tool, but you can extend your APM to your robot and then you can use it up. But rest other commercial tools like these are like say you need to pay a very hefty amount and then get it and then use it up. So due to these shortcomings here and there, like a lot of people don't want to uh, have two tools for your Android and iOS. That means one tool for Android, one tool for iOS, and a lot of people don't want to have only uh, framework for only React. So in order to overcome it, now people are very widely using APM when compared to a decade back, I would say half a decade back. So it started with 1.x.x version and it moved to 2.x.x version, and now it's again available in 3.x.x version. So 3.x.x is the very, I would say, a stable version. You have a lot of features, a lot of tasks that you can do. It is something like an all in all mobile automation tool that is available. And APM, it's again, it's an open source tool, and also like say, uh, it's like say compatible with Java, C sharp, and also some people I've seen they're using JavaScript as well, and also like say Python. So all the common programming languages nowadays which are considered like say valuable, your APM is compatible with. Okay, and also nowadays like say if you ask me, like the setup of APM is quite simple, but configuring the Android and iOS needs little attention. That's it. It's not tough, but needs little more focus and attention. Because for Android, I would say it's very easy. So it takes nearly like 30 minutes approximate to set it up. But for iOS, it's like quite secured one. So it takes a little bit time. It's a time consuming process. But your APM, if somebody asks you, does your APM is compatible with cloud based tools? Yes, APM extends the support to almost all cloud based environments. I would say maybe to just show you, okay, how an APM will have the cloud environments. These are the cloud environments. Okay, you can use your source lab, browser stack, and what is this? Testing bot, robot QA, Bitbar, Perfecto, Mobitro, and Describe, Hitspin, Lambda text, Expery test. So almost like whichever is the latest, we use it up. Okay, so it supports the extended support to your cloud as well. Then where does the APM lack? You can ask me like, does it uh, don't have any disadvantage? Yes, certainly it has some disadvantage. It's little bit slow, okay, when compared to some commercial tools. Okay, little slow and a little sluggish as well. At times, I would say, at times, not every time, at times. And separate server called APM needs to be available, but it's easy to set up. It needs to be available. I don't know like how many of you have experienced the Selenium RC remote control some decades back, because always you need to start a server, then run the test cases in the same fashion. Your APM will also work. So these are the advantages and disadvantages, I would say. So any doubts here so far till now? Any doubts, anything? Okay, so now, yeah, yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so this APM tool, is it dependent on any languages? Like which programming languages basically like we use to develop the apps?
It doesn't APM as it is doesn't depend on any programming language, but we as a like say from for our session we use APM with Java. We use it up so that we keep it as a base, because other languages has one or two some disadvantages, but basically it was developed as a Java tool, so we are using it as a Java. So other tools also we can very well use it. I think like C Sharp also is very good, and Python also is like way good, I would say. In some organization they have like APM plus Java, and along with that, to handle some mobile application they have the Python as well, some scenarios. So it's almost compatible. And when you talk about the application, how they are built, right?
Mm.
So let me come to that one. So if you see like iOS, so they have a technological stack called Flutter or Swift on which it is being built. Okay. And for an Android, again, we have two things. One is like Java, or we have something, it starts with K. Actually, I forgot the name. My bad. Let me check it just a second. Yeah, Kotlin. Okay. Java or Kotlin. So any of these two, they will be using it up. Yes. So the beauty of this Flutter is like say, when you use your Flutter, this will create application for iOS and Android. That is the beauty of Flutter, but it's not very much into existence. I would say it's like very minor existence. Some people do it up. And Swift is very predominantly used in iOS because that's the programming language used to develop iOS application. And Android, Java is mostly used. Kotlin is something like say the new one which is being existing for almost 5 to 8 years. I'm not 100% sure, but it should not be less than 5 years. It's been existing in the industry. Okay, so we use it for your Android. This is how it works. Okay, I hope that answers you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What is the difference between 1.x, 2.x, and 3.x technically? I was asked, okay, that's great. Good question. So technically, what happened in 1.x to 2.x and 3.x? So 1.x.x, this had a separate APM for desktop available. Okay, and we need to start the APM from there. And the APM for desktop had the inspector also embedded in it. And the setup was quite tedious. And that's the reason, like, say, 1.x was not quite a hit, but still people used it up quite much. And that's the reason, like, say, last 2 3 years back, they launched the 2.x.x. Okay, so this is completely a revamped version which is existing in npm or your node, we call it. Okay, so it's up to the latest technological stack. Previously it was not there, so your 2.x is existing only in npm or your node, and setup is very much easy, and migration from 1.x.x to 2.x.x was pretty smooth as well. It's not a tough one. Okay, and what is this the 3.x version 2? Just a moment. Okay, so what is the 3.x.x version 2? So it is a fully stabilized version, or it is the next advanced version of 2.x.x, I would say. And it's completely, like, say, whether it's a 2.x or 3.x, it's based on something called W3C standards, WebDriver standards. And 3.x.x has nothing more than W3C WebDriver standards and a strict complaints format. Okay, and this 3.x has a better start and stop of the sessions, and they have some long-term support as well. And if you're moving from 2.x to 3.x, it's again, like, say, a pretty easy task, but again, like, still needs some efforts. And what has been changed from 1.x to 2 or 3.x? Okay, it's like, say, the desired capability has been changed to options, and in Android we have a better version control now, I would say. And there is something called a plugins now available in 2.x.x and 3.x.x. Okay, which has some features by default enabled. Okay, when you run it with the plugin. Okay, so these are some of the advantages, I would say, of your difference, or like say some advantages between 2 and 3. 2 and 3 doesn't have like big difference. It only based upon the securities, okay, how they have handled it. That forms the crux of 2 and 3 version. So in case if you anyone encounters this, you can just tell them these stuffs, I would say. Okay. So we still have 2 minutes for today. So I will give back to you this one. Okay. So let's have some Q&A sessions. Okay. So uh, okay. So this part will come to it later tomorrow. What is the prerequisite? What do we need? And what is an Android Studio and UI Automator? All these things we'll come back to it. So today is like say an introduction, like say what we are going to learn and how it is looking like and all those stuffs. Maybe over to you all actually. So please let me know for any questions and in case if you're enrolling it right. So I think you know the right person. Each one is available in a group. So kindly contact them. If not, you can contact these numbers. Okay, where it will be helpful for you. I have a Windows mission. It's time to take some questions. I have a Windows mission. So will I be able to test iOS base? Yeah, you can test it actually, no issues, but not as a full-fledged one. I would say there are some again workarounds available. I'll teach you that also. Yeah, you can do iOS on Windows, but not a full-fledged. Okay, like almost like 50 to 70 percentage you can do it. Any APM with respect to AI? Yeah, that's a good question. So it's a generic topic, I would tell. Like say AI is not like say specific to APM. So I don't know like whether you guys heard about something called Model Context Protocol, MCP. So which is again coming across all the automation, not only for APM, for Playwright, Cypress, Selenium, and then APM. So it's a generic concept. So if you implement it, we can use that also, but that's a separate skill test. What is it? Skill set altogether. Okay, so we'll not be clubbing it over here. Okay, yeah. To answer that, yes, I would say for Mandeep, yes. But the topic is a separate skill set, so we don't take it into this one. So we call it as a separate MCP, Model Context Protocol. Okay, so anyone, any doubts more? And how the sessions will be handled? Like say, I'll be handling all your sessions and all the notes, codes, everything. Like say, it will be available in GitHub. So once you enroll to the course, right? Like I'll be giving you some GitHub links and I'll make you as a collaborator so that you can add it, modify it, you can pull it, any updates, anything, it will be available there. And also like say the documentation, other things, it will available in GitHub. So again, I'll add you to that as well so that you can download it at any time and it's for lifetime, I would say. Okay, it's like say like if you are if you are into the course and I add you as a collaborator till the end, like say you have the updates. Yes, any app that will be automated end to end, yes, we'll be doing it. We have a retail application, so we'll be doing that for both Android and iOS. Yeah. Swag Lab app. Maybe let me quickly show it. I hope you can see it. So we have something called a Swag Lab. This application we have where from the login we need to write the code. We add to the cart. We go to the cart. We do a checkout. Fill in the details. And then we do a continue. We place the order. So this entire flow we'll be doing it up. Hope that is fine. And also you can bring your own apps as well. So we can try to handle it as well. And for different scenarios, I'll be using different apps actually, because we need to cover quite a lot of scenarios. There are around like uh, 10 scenarios, 10 to 15 scenarios based upon the applications. So we'll be covering it up. Yeah. And it's completely like practical. Okay, we don't have much theoretical. Maybe 1 or 2 days we might have theoretical, but it's completely practical. So everything will be handwritten code using IntelliJ, and we'll be executing it. And in between the sessions, you might have some quizzes, some hands-on as well. Okay, because I know like people are busy, but still you need to have some hands-on. What is what, at least, yeah. Okay, so we'll be having a quite interactive session as well. Yeah. Okay, so we are almost 4 minutes past. Can I go for 2 years experiment after this? Yeah, absolutely. Yes, 2 years. It's very well sufficient after this course. How much APM demand in market? It's quite high, I would say. The rate at which the applications are developed, you need to test it. So it's always high. APM, I felt like say always it's quite high. It's stable. Okay, even the web application might differ, like you can have like a lot of tools available. Some people expect Cypress, some people Playwright, Selenium, but for APM or mobile automation, I hear quite a lot of APM, so it's always one person existing now. It's kind of a monopoly, I would say. And again, it's very much in demand. Hope that answers. So any more questions, anything? If not, so let's regroup it again tomorrow, same time. Okay, I'll be again walking you through a couple of theoretical and practical parts tomorrow. So in case if you have your Android devices, just bring in so you can also have some exposure to it, and let's see how it goes about. Yeah. And thanks for your time taking in, and really appreciate it, and hope to see you all tomorrow's session, and have a good evening for you all. Yeah, and good night in case if it's a night time. Yeah. Please feel free to drop off if you don't have any questions. Thank you. Thank you.